Now that you have had an opportunity to do your evaluation, let's talk a little bit about stimulating our general wellness points. The purpose of stimulating your general wellness points is for overall health and immune system building. These points are shown on page 16 of your Equine guidebook, as well as on one side of your 11 by 17 laminated barn chart. So go ahead and get those out and follow along as we go through this explanation and later as we do our demonstration. When we stimulate acupoints, that's considered an indirect application, and we follow the traditional Chinese medicine meridians and acupoint. Remember, when you're stimulating your acupoints, they only want to be whispered to, they don't want to be shouted at, so you always want to use your low setting on the light, and I mean always, and stimulate them for no more than 10 seconds on each point. As a quick reminder, when we say to stimulate the acupoints for no more than 10 seconds, be aware of the movements on the horse. They may want you off earlier than that. And when you're stimulating your acupoints, 2 to 3 times a week is more than adequate. It is worth repeating that if the horse pulls away, shakes you off, or indicates any other adverse reaction to stimulation of an acupoint, step away for a second. Allow the horse to process, then come back and move on to the next point. Your horse may be indicating to you that they do not need that particular point stimulated. Pay attention. You can always revisit this at the end of the session and see if your horse is still reactive. In addition to the general wellness acupoints, address anything that surfaced during your evaluation. Any point of pain, any area of discomfort, and be sure to reference your notes from your working charts. While you're doing that, you watch for reactions such as changes in breathing, licking, chewing, yawning, the lips twitching, lowering of the head, blowing out either end. They get sleepy, they rest their back leg. All of these indicate that they are processing the energy. And your final tip for this section is please allow the horse to process. Never rush, never push, and no means no. Let's go ahead and watch a demonstration on how the AAH Light team stimulates the general wellness acupoints. You'll notice that in this demonstration we include other areas of pain that have surfaced during our evaluation. And it is also not the intention of this video to show you each and every point and explain them. Those are clearly identified in your Equine guidebook. It is strictly the intention of this video to give you an overall idea of how we go about this process. Now we're going to do what we call our general wellness. So our general wellness we offer in our book, and the point of stimulating these, when we stimulate acupressure points, first of all, my light has 3 settings, so you always want to use the low setting if you're stimulating acupressure points. They just want to be whispered to, they don't want to be shouted at. So you don't want to use a high-powered light if you're actually stimulating acupressure points. The point of doing these is about building the immune system. And if you do these on an ongoing basis, like twice a week is all you really need to do your wellness points, everything else you're doing with the horse is going to be better. All their supplements are going to be better, their training is going to be better, their attention is going to be better because now their body's functioning better. So we're going to first go ahead and do these. Remember that these are on both sides of the horse. When we stimulate acupressure points, you do it for no more than 10 seconds, less if the horse shows you any sign that they want you off. So you've all watched them flick a fly off. Well, if they flick you off, then they're done as well. We don't need a lot of stimulation at this point. So the points that I start with, I always like to start with what we call the third eye, or the yin tong point. That's a very calming point for most horses. So when you do that, you want to introduce the light. You don't want to just walk up to them and go, boom, right? You want to be able to, so they are not thinking you're coming at them or something that's going to stop them. So your body meridians are on both sides of you. your left and your right, and then we have one that goes down the front center of us and one that goes right smack down the back of us. The points that we've selected for this are all based on the traditional Chinese medicine, and the points, each point is listed in our book as to why we do what we do with them. There, you just shift it off. That was enough. You want the horse to do whatever the horse needs to do during this process. If they need to move, you want to let them move. We're going to go back up and do his head. So he wants us to do that. So while I'm doing this and while questions are coming to your mind, jot them down so we don't forget them at the end. Because every time I get to the end, I forget that part. So there's a difference in his attitude right there. So you look for all different kinds of signs at this point of releasing, whether it's the head drops, whether they're releasing gas and licking, yawning, any type of reaction. There's his lips, there's his head. So I'm going to go ahead and take these lanyards off really quick. That's one thing nice about having removable lanyards like this. They just snip right off and you don't have to have them if you don't want to have them on there right now, which I don't. The reason that I use 2 lights, first of all, I go twice as fast. I mean, I guess that's the main reason, is I can go twice as fast. There's a nice breath. He's repositioning. You saw the tail swish. For no more than 10 seconds at a hot. Our wellness points show the front of this and the end of this. I like to do the whole, since he showed so much soreness underneath this when we went through it, I'm going to go ahead and go through and do all of the points in between here. Pretty much in between each rib. Keeping a hand on him, and I'm keeping myself close. So we've got contact, and if he were to step over, he would just push me off. Now we know Joker's not going to kick me, but you can be working on a horse that you don't know, and they could kick you. So he's dropped his head probably 6 inches in the last 2 minutes. So you're looking for the release of air, whether it's coming, whichever end it comes out of. A nice blow. So there's different charts that we have in our book, and some of them will put a horse in this lumberland like this, and some of them are intended to be pre-performance type charts, so you want to do it before you go out and compete, so you don't want your horse in la-la land. But you want that lungs to open up, you want their muscles to open up, you want their whole body to soften. So we have points in there that do that. It doesn't take very long to go through and do any of the charts. Especially if you're using 2 lights. You can go through it really quickly. Now, one of our wellness points is right on the belly, right on that center line. He's got some stomach issues. Look at how much he woke up right there. He's not really happy about me being down here. Let's see if he'll change his mind about that. Okay, there he just shifted off. So there he walked off, so I don't want to go any longer than that. You know, if you don't respect the horse's reactions, and you keep going back, you get that animal to distrust not only you, but the therapy. Because they're like, hey, I told you I didn't want it there, and you just kept coming back there, now I don't want you anywhere. Some of our other wellness points are back here. And unless you have 3 arms, it's really difficult to use 2 lights and keep one on the horse at all times. So when I'm back here, I kind of use my, when you get older, you don't have your balance as good as you used to. So I use him to keep me held up. I notice he's relaxing. Put him back. He's not happy about the stomach point. So that's something you make a note of. And you think, okay, well, let's talk about that later. You want to turn him around. I hate to ask him to move, but go ahead and turn his head. There's a better expression. All right, we're going to start up here. He had his teeth worked on a couple of weeks ago. We didn't bring that up this morning, but we found that out on Friday when we were working on him. And he was really sore up here in the TMJ joint. And so he kept walking backwards until we put the light on him. And that's one thing you'll find about your horse. The more you do it, the more they'll interact with you, the more they'll tell you. They'll look at the point that they want you to put the light on, go back up into the point that they want. Shoulder. Just waiting for him to give us a big, he's close. Holding it in. Interesting. I'm just touching him and I'm just using my fingers there. He's very, very sore, cinchy. Sure.